All right, we're back. I'm still Laura and I still write musicals. This isn't one of them though. This is a story about the Pooka who lives in my neighborhood. Okay, let's catch you up. Pooka, lazy trickster shapeshifter, lives at Simon's Tavern, annual Swedish festival. Okay? Here's how it happened. At 10 a.m. sharp on the Saturday of Midsummerfest, the Friends of the Swedish American Museum gathered all the young people that they could find to teach a traditional circle dance. They must have done a good job advertising, or maybe they tapped into that horror movie crowd and got some looky-loos, but whatever it was, the turnout was impressive. Imagine musicians on a concert stage, a large flower-bedecked cross in the center of the street, and 60 laughing people holding hands around it. Once the dance began, between the music and the chatter and the laughter, the scene was irresistible. So here comes our Pooka, peeking out of the tavern doorway to see what's going on. And what he saw must have been a dream come true to a trickster like him. So many people fumbling, sashaying, trying to keep hold of hands. The perfect recipe for chaos. He slipped out of the door and into the crowd. It was almost too easy. A well-placed foot made this man trip. A jog through the legs made that woman stumble. And each misstep rippled down the line, pulling others out of formation. The circle surged and swelled, and it was only a few sure-footed dancers that kept it from causing a chain reaction of collapse. That wouldn't do for our fellow. He spotted a strong young woman whose confident steps clearly buoyed those around her. She's the key, he thought. If I can get her to tumble, the rest will fall like dominoes. Forward he crept, keeping to the shadows, hiding under skirts, grinning at the shrieks of those whose bare legs he brushed against. 2 dancers dropped hands, and the lead dancer turned, beginning a shift into a spiral. Faster and faster, the inner line turned in on itself. Quicker and quicker the Pooka flashed ahead, for his target was winding her way into the center. At last he was within the twisting train itself, pushing here and tugging there, but always moving toward his goal. In an instant, he calculated where her next step would fall. In a moment, he dashed out his clever hands, palms upturned, until he caught her foot right as it landed, and whoop, he tossed it to the side. Down the dancer fell. Down she tugged the arms she held to the left and right. Down went the person next to her, and the one next to him, and the one next to her, out and out and out, on in a big shout of whoops. The Pooka shook with delight. Then, boom, down came a heavy body to his right. Bang, another clipped his left. He realized he'd need to get out, and quickly. So off he ran, just managing to weave between dancers before they too fell, just managing to avoid being crushed. He ran through rings of the spiral, 1, 2, 3, and there was safety in sight, the outer edge, the beginning of the horrified crowd. He was nearly clear when, yank! The very last dancer, at the very end of the spiral, a young boy with no chance of withstanding the momentum of his falling friends, in a frantic move to find something, anything to hang on to, reached out his hand and found something in its grasp and pulled. And what would that be but the very hairs of our Pooka's backside? If this happened to you or me, not that I'm saying that you have a furry backside, a yank like that would pull us straight down to the ground. But remember, Pookas are made of more pliable stuff. The Pooka reached out his arms and grabbed the northeastern pole of the nearest vendor's tent, and so even as his legs went up and behind him, and the young dancer pulled and pulled, he held and held fast, and his backside stretched and stretched. It stretched an inch, and then 3, and then 5, then 10. It stretched and stretched until it was a whole foot long. Complete pandemonium. Whoa! Pandemonium! See, I can't even say it. The musicians stopped playing and tripped over each other to help. The crowd rushed forward to pull dancers up. The instructors shouted for everyone to stay calm, and the instant the young boy relaxed his grip, the Pooka was off, scuttling to the shadows to avoid from getting caught. Before you worry, No one was seriously hurt that day. And as you asked 100 different onlookers and participants, you'd get 100 different answers on what happened at the folk dance that morning. All I know is I ran into the Pooka later that same night. I was walking past Simon's, and they had the windows open to let in the cool night air. I paused there for a moment, looking at the lights inside and outside, and there he popped up, dark as a shadow, proudly flaunting his long, his luxuriant tail. That, my friends, is the story of the Andersonville Pooka and how he got his tail. And it makes me think, too, of his cousin, the brown elephant Brownie. I know quite a story about the Brownie's passion for overalls. Maybe if you come back soon, that's a tale that I could tell. For now, I'm out of time, so stay well and watch out for fairies in your neighborhood.